Hello and welcome back to G-senjou no Maou. I had a weird night tonight because I couldn't sleep for that as long as I would have liked to. I think I slept for 4 hours and was up out of bed. Yeah, 4 hours early actually. Well, from my normal sleeping schedule, I usually try to sleep 8 hours a day, but for some reason my body didn't want it to sleep for that long. Or maybe it's a nightmare, I can't remember. But yeah, I want to do something with the day, so here we are. We mixed in with the large crowd of people trying to escape the building. The employees scrambled for the stairs, not giving a care about anyone else. A good number of people fell and were trampled. Oh god, it's so... We searched for an exit like a pack of refugees. Look! When we reached the outside at last, we took in a breath of fresh air. It was only then that we understood. Yusami. We had thought as long as we made it out of the building, we'd be safe.
はい。予想の斜め上を行かれました。
Wait, what? Yeah, this is much worse than we thought. This wasn't just a takeover of the Sano Corporation building. The sound of screaming mashed with the rattle of submachine gunfire. Oh yeah, isn't it some kind of martial law out there? As it turned out, nowhere was safe. But this looks freaking beautiful. Wait. Wasn't his goal to... Well, Kyohai's goal was to free his father, and now he destroys a whole city? What? People were being mowed down mercilessly in waves. Flesh and blood scattered about everywhere. The evil sounds were incessant. The screaming, gunfire, and crashing noises continued unabated. I had no idea that air could smell this scorched. And there was so much fire that you couldn't even tell what was burning anymore. The distant sky was misted in smoke.
ひとまずどこかに身を隠しましょう。
We should find somewhere to hide for now. As reality broke down around me, I did as Yusami suggested and headed for a nearby alley. Just as we were about to get to the alley, a patrol car showed up. It stopped on the shoulder of the road, siren blaring. The police. The thought of the power of the state getting involved left me with a transient feeling of relief.
逃げましょう。
We've gotta get out of here! She pulled at my arm. A dozen boys holding iron pipes suddenly came out of hiding. They bashed on the windshield and hood, and when the officer stepped out of the car, they changed their target to his head. Got to be kidding me. These children didn't hesitate for a second with the violence they were inflicting.
ハザイさん、早く
Okay, now she tells him to hurry up. Wow. And the thing is, this mentality isn't even far from the truth, which is pretty freaking sad. More mayhem awaited us in the alley we ran into. Normally it would just be a narrow little space where the homeless settled down for a bit. But now several men were having their way with a woman. Oh man, humans, the fucking worst animals on the planet. I guess the one laying to the side and having a fit was someone that had just finished with her. Suddenly I heard the sound of glass breaking from above, and a person fell from the sky. He was a man that looked to be a yakuza, but he was covered in blood and foaming at the mouth. A kid with dyed red hair finished him off with a piece of lumber. Someone pointed at us. "Kill him, rape him," they yelled as they closed in on us, laughing. I took Yusami's hand and ran. The reality of what was going on around me gradually started to sink in. It was like those anti-Japanese demonstrations in other parts of Asia that you see on TV. Central Boulevard had been transformed into a frenzy of violence. After breaking the window of a restaurant, a group of boys had crowded around the register and scattered the money about. A sports car drove through the crowd, taking free rein over the usually congested street. Or congested? On the sidewalk, a middle-aged businessman was being ganged up on and murdered. Graffiti of the sort you'd find in a public bathroom was sprawled across a police box. That only drove home the point that we can't expect anything from the police.
クーデターって言うんですかね。
I guess you could call this a coup d'etat. Or if I even... God, I'm butchering so many languages. I don't think so. This is too vulgar to be an uprising or revolt, and too indiscriminate to be terrorism. This is hell. Yusami nodded. Maou, the devil had brought hell to earth. Well, at least he stays true to his name. Oh, BGM title, True Hell on Earth. It's just after 4 o'clock. I received a report that the last alley in Central Boulevard had been blocked off.
結構これで山王物産を中心とする半径約3キロの区域は我々の国となった。
Excellent. Now everything within a 2-mile radius of the Sanoo headquarters has become part of our little nation. We can call it Neverland, or the People's Anarchy of Tomambetsu City. It doesn't matter. What's important is that I succeeded in forging the hell I thought on Earth. Death and destruction enveloped everything in sight. I spent many a year plotting in order to bring about this lawlessness. Central Boulevard has nigh on 40 different entrances and exits. And at the moment, each one of them is being controlled by the children I brought up so dearly. According to my preliminary calculations, the roads themselves would only take about 10 minutes. The plan was to take a few freight trucks we had stolen prior and driven them into the buildings, effectively creating a barricade to stop up the alleys. In addition to that, we also piled up sandbags to fill up any empty space between the buildings and the trucks, and to top it all off, we decided to put up a barbed wire fence around it. A fence which, with that last report, has just now been finished. The idea was to coordinate all of this with the takeover of the Sanoo building and the abduction of Imagawa, a member of the National Diet.
よくやってくれた。みんなで力を合わせて国を守ろう。
Good work. Let us all pool the best of our abilities to protect our country. Don't you mean actually to sink it into chaos? I responded gently to the child. I made sure he understood that this plan was not just a thing of fairy tales. As long as you had the proper know-how and you were sufficiently warped, anyone could pull it off. Oh, I think I know this! Dun 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 dun. I heard it somewhere before. I think, well, there's a lot of classical music in this game, just a little bit remixed so it doesn't sound as much of the original as it initially sounds, but that's basically that. The cell phone rang. It was from a number associated with the police. I guess it's time to make the police face this brilliant music as well.
こんにちは。あなたは本件の責任者かな？
Good afternoon. I'm speaking to the officer in charge of this case. There was no need for a voice changer. Regardless of which machine or algorithm you use, police technology has evolved enough to identify your voice print.
私は県警捜査一課特殊班の時だ。本件の責任者と考えてもらって構わない。
Oh, it's the father. Tokitaki Hiro, yeah. My name is Tokita. I'm the 1st Police Special Division of the Prefectural Police Department. I don't think there will be any complaints if you consider me in charge here. His voice held a sense of dignity and a firm will. This prefecture's special division is on par with the Tokyo Police Special Investigation Team or Osaka's martial arts attack team in terms of capability. They are professionals when it comes to hostage crisis, kidnappings, corporate threats, blackmail and other such cases. When dealing with vicious criminals such as myself, they mobilize with heavy equipment. And then, if negotiations fail, they charge in.
はじめまして。時田警視。いや、警視正かな？
A pleasure to speak with you, Superintendent Tokita. Or should I say Senior Superintendent Tokita?
警察の階級に詳しいようだな。君はまさか警察内部の人間じゃないだろうね。
You are quite informed about police ranks. You wouldn't happen to be with the police yourself, would you? He's a real negotiator, alright. Already going after the juicy details, eh?
私のことは浅井と呼んでほしい。ひょっとしたら公安あたりが実態を掴んでいるかもしれないから聞いてみるといい。
Oh, you dig! You can call me Azai. Public security might even have some information on me. Go ahead and check if you like.
わざわざすまないね。手間が省けるよ。お礼と言ってはなんだが、こちらがいかにして君たちを包囲しているか忠告してもいいだろうか。
Well, thank you. That should save us some time. Tell you what, as a token of my appreciation, how about I tell you exactly to what extent I have you surrounded at the moment?
ぜひお願いする。
That would be wonderful.
現在セントラルオフィスに至るすべての道路を完全通行止めにしてある。歩道も同様だ。ロープを張ってカメラを抱えたマスコミもシャットアウトしている。
At present, we have all roads that lead to Central Boulevard and Central Office blocked off. Same goes for pedestrian routes. We have police tape up to keep the press at bay as well.
手際がいいな。事件発生からまだ3時間しか経っていない。警視庁からも応援の機動隊が来ているのかな？
And yet, it's only been 3 hours since the incident occurred. Excellent workmanship. Do you have the riot police from Tokyo coming in to back you as well?
細かい説明は不要のようだな。各封鎖地点にはすでに走行車両やSATの移動用バスも待機しているぞ。
I guess I won't have to be doing much explaining of the finer points to you. Yes, we have armored vehicles and SAT teams standing by at each blockade.
お見事。では、防備の脆そうなドラッグストア近くの封鎖地点に走行車両を突っ込ませて突入経路を確保したらどうかな？
Very good. Might I recommend ramming an armored vehicle into the blockade near the drugstore? The defenses seem to be weakest there, and securing a route in might be plausible there.
ご指摘ありがとう。だが今川議員の現在地、安全が確認できない現状では、突入は見合わせる方針だ。
Oh man. I appreciate the advice. However, I'm afraid we'll have to hold off on charging in until we can confirm Mr. Imagawa's safety.
賢明だな。今こちらでどんな騒ぎが起きているかは知っているな。
A wise decision. I trust you are also aware of the current state of affairs on this side, correct? Central Boulevard is equipped with various cameras that serve as crime deterrents.
さっきカメラから送られてきた映像を見た若手がトイレに駆け込んでいったよ。いやはや、まるでこの世の出来事とは思えないな。
We just had a young man rush to the bathroom after getting a look at the live video feed. It's almost like a window into an entirely different world at this point. Oh, so he had to vomit because of the disgust that happened. That's why he rushed to the bathroom.
暴挙に及んでいるのがほぼ未成年だという点に注目していただきたい。
I'd like to point out that most of the violence is being committed by minors.
承知しているよ。少年たちの行動は無秩序で野蛮そのものだ。計画の立案者は実に周到だ。
Yes, we are aware of this fact. The acts of these children may be disorder and brutality incarnate, but the one who set this all up was careful indeed.
もしこの問題先送りで評判の国の総理が未来を担う少年少女を皆殺しにしろとサット隊に命令できたら、これからは私もきちんと選挙に行くとする。
If a certain prime minister decides to put an end to this problem by ordering the special assault team to slaughter a bunch of children, the very future of this country, you can bet I will be running. Wait. If a certain prime minister decides to put an end to this problem by ordering the special assault team to slaughter a bunch of children, the very future of this country, you can bet I will be running in the next election. But even if it weren't minors they were dealing with, the police wouldn't be able to just charge in on a moment's notice. Getting over trucks that tall would be difficult even for a mercenary. You'd make an easy target while you were attempting to scale it. Granted, if they came charging in mindless of losses, they would be met with some success, but would the police hot-shots in Tokyo find it in themselves to go ahead to such an unfavorably brute force operation? I still believe my biggest threat to be the military. The Japanese military's hand-to-hand combat capabilities were spoken of even amongst my mercenary comrades as being among some of the best in the world. Naturally, I don't think I'd have much luck going up against a legitimate army. But using Japanese infantry against urban terrorism is a concept that has only been put to suggestion in recent years. If the fight involves civilians, they wouldn't be able to make full use of the overwhelming potential. There's also the possibility of them dropping in paratroopers, but in a situation like this, where you wouldn't be able to tell terrorists from civilians, that wouldn't be all that effective.
虐殺命令が降りてこないことを祈っているよ。そうならないように私が来ている。
Well, I certainly hope it doesn't come to slaughter like that. In fact, making sure we can avoid that is the very reason I'm here.
話し合いで解決するのが一番だな、時田警視正。我々は味方だろ。
It would be in both of our best interests to settle this with words, Senior Superintendent Tokita. We're on the same side here, wouldn't you agree? He returned some dry laughter.
いや、浅井には驚かされるばかりだよ。君は交渉人のマニュアルなどを熟知しているのだろう。
You continue to surprise me, Azai. You have the negotiator's manual memorized by heart, don't you?
どうかな。少なくとも無理に会話を引き延ばす必要はない。私は粗暴犯ではないつもりだ。
Perhaps. Regardless, I just feel there's no need to draw this conversation out longer than need be. I try not to be a violent, boorish criminal, you see?
そのようだな。
Indeed.
ついでにあなたが FBI にも留学したエリートだということも知っている。長らく官職についていたことも、ユキという幼女がいることも。
Moreover, I know that you are a distinguished man who studied with the FBI, that you were relegated out to some backwater post, and that you have an adopted daughter. That goes by the name Yuki.
参ったな。今私にわかるのは、君が日本人で、年齢が20代後半から30代前半、背が高くて痩せ型ということだけだ。
I guess I'm at a disadvantage here. The only thing I know about you is that you are a tall, thin Japanese man in his late 20s to early 30s. They say a truly capable negotiator can discern a person's age, origin, intellect, and state of mind just by hearing their voice. Some can even discern physical features such as your height and weight. They say listening to the pitch your vocal cords produce gives an insight into their size.
それでは通常の交渉の段階をすっ飛ばして、あえて聞いてみてもいいかな？
Well then, do you mind if I just skip the usual exposition and cut right down to business? Furthermore, they can mask themselves with a versatile, malleable personality, capable of adapting to the situation. However, he must have figured that continuing with that charade would be pointless against me.
要求は何だ？
What are your demands? His words contained no trace of his previous tender attitude. Senior Superintendent Tokita removed his mask and laid his hostility bare. I could feel his drive to catch unjust felons, his pride as an officer emanating from the other end of the phone. I responded by politely stating my demands.
首相に要求する。今から私が言うものを即刻釈放せよ。
I demand of the Prime Minister that he immediately release from custody the following unjustly incarcerated freedom fighters. And so I went on to name extremist political prisoners, one by one. Mixed among them, I listed my father, Samijima Toshikatsu. After all, he was a man who had been, long in the past, suspected of being involved with extremists. I knew, wow, all this effort just to get him out. Isn't that a little bit overkill? That's overkill, right? Oh wow! Background changes. Down the dark path. Oof. I thought this was outside, but it's in my headphones. Tiles had been upturned here and there along the path we walked. Splinters of glass were scattered about. Streetlights were bent over, crooked, and were on the verge of falling over at any moment. The shopping district was less than a shadow of its former self. How are things on your end, Yusami? We hid behind a wrecked car as we searched for some form of escape.
ここもダメです。
No luck. The main exit out of Central Boulevard was blocked by a huge bus. Sandbags were piled further on top of it, blocking any view of the outside world. Occasionally we heard the sirens of ambulances and police cars from beyond the blockade. Oh god. Oh, now the sleep deprivement is creeping up on me. I seriously couldn't sleep any longer, and now I'm fucking tired. Men in uniform and young boys fired off their pistols and machine guns, almost like a warning to those outside. The pandemonium all around us had shown no signs of abating. Hip-hop fashion boys were chasing around the poor unfortunate souls that had been left behind. There were women among them. Each one carried either a pipe or a gun. Were you talking to me? My eardrums had already been saturated with noise from the hell around us. The sound of smashing concrete. The sounds of screams and gunfire. Piercing shrieks. Dashing and running. Fighting. Cries of death. Hey you! That's why we didn't notice the voices stealing up on our backs. Yusumi yanked my arm. We ran our hardest. We passed under the crooked streetlight and dove under a gasoline pump covered in soot. Jeers and whistles assaulted us from various directions. Yusami's exhaustion was made clear by her face. I probably looked just as pathetic. As I panted, I felt something sour creeping up my throat. After jumping into a cafe with all of its windows busted, we were finally able to turn around. The disheveled man was closing in on us with a nasty grin.
ここはまずいです。
We can't stay here! She's right. Running into a building with only one exit isn't going to do us any good. Feeling a bit dizzy from lack of oxygen, I kicked my legs into action once again, crossing over the floor covered in shattered glass. Over there! My feet responded in kind with noisy footsteps. After getting back on the road, I still could not afford to rest my legs. I crossed the street, jumping over an open manhole in the process. I passed an elderly man's corpse and a broken vending machine along the way. But in the end, this was all a hopeless escape. No matter where or how far we ran, mobs of people would be there to greet us at every turn.
どこかに身を隠さなくては。
We need to find some place to hide! Just the act of running makes us stand out. We turned a corner. There was a department store signboard about 200 yards ahead. Over there! That was the only place we could run. Major department stores have multiple exits, and there should be plenty of hiding places inside. The bathrooms, the escalators behind racks of clothing. It's not like these little goblins are chasing solely after us. If they lose sight of us, they'd probably just give up. This situation inside of the department store wasn't much different from the outside. Display cases had been shattered and gems were scattered about the floor. We stepped over torn bags and the pieces of dismembered mannequins as we searched for a place to hide. What is that kind of... Is that even a jeans? That looks like... looks like jogging trousers or something. I'm so sorry. I'm not yawning because it's boring. I'm yawning because I have lack of sleep. We're on the second floor. We're trying to hide ourselves in a fitting room. After settling down and catching our breath, for a moment we take stock of the situation. You're not injured, are you? Nah, I'm tough like that. She smiled weakly. So, what do we do now? Just try to stay alive until the mob dies down. Will it, you think? Will it? Oh, will it, you think?
The
destruction is haphazard. The destruction is haphazard, without rhyme or reason. They should eventually run out of people to kill, and things to destroy, and get tired of it. In other words, we should lay low until all the other ducks are done for? Easier said than done, I know. Yusami tried to breathe as silently as possible, as she engaged in deep thought. Huh? I heard footsteps on the other side of the curtain. I immediately held my breath. God, it's a girl. Ding dong, did I hear somebody home? Her voice and tone gave off the spitting image of an archetypal hoodlum. She must have heard us talking. The footsteps came closer. What should we do? I asked Yusami with my eyes. If they find us here, we won't have anywhere to run. Maybe we should just jump out. If we catch her by surprise, it might throw her off aim. I look over at Yusami once more. For some reason, even in this dire situation, the sensations of our night together resurface in my mind. I know what I have to do. No matter what it takes, I'm going to protect this woman. Aww, you have a heart after all. I ready myself to pounce the moment the curtain opens. Alright, there's another one of those short scenes ahead. And if you read what is written here, you know what could be upon you. And if you want to see it, and if you are of age, and yeah, that it is just a short clip, it is not vital. Well, it is not, technically it's not vital, it's just how they get out of the situation they are currently in. And it is just, so I won't tell any one of you, don't. But yeah, link down in the description to the snippet of the video, and the other thing, and the video itself will continue in about a few seconds. So if you want to see the bridge between those two things, just click in the description. There will be the link to the video that is not listed, and then you can just go back to this video and continue. Yeah, I think that's a good thing. In any case, yeah, that's enough for me. Now enjoy the rest of the video. Okay, welcome back for the sudden cut. Thank God you caught on. I knew I could count on you. I didn't hurt your arm, did I?
あ、いい
No. She chewed her lip in embarrassment.
しかし浅井さん、完全に悪党でしたね。某世紀末アニメに出てくるモヒカンばりでしたよ。痺れました。
Wait, what? Anyway, you really seem to be in your element when playing the villain. I could totally imagine you as that guy with the mohawk in the post-apocalyptic end of the century anime. Spine chills ensued. You really like that show, huh? I'm surprised you can still make jokes in this situation.
今ので確信しました。
Anyway, that last exchange pretty much sealed it for me.
彼らには特に誰が味方で誰が敵かという区別がないようです。
They don't have any clear distinction between friend and foe. Indeed. They are all dressed pretty casually, and they aren't wearing any accessories or anything to identify each other.
単純に逃げ惑う人や武器を所持していない人、あからさまに青少年ではない大人たちが彼らにとっての獲物というわけです。
Wait, I have a problem here now. They are probably just going after anyone who doesn't have any weapons, or people who clearly aren't minors. It's impressive that you can make such rational observation at a time like this. I follow your logic, but I can't help but wonder why. Minors, huh? I mean, in the beginning of the game they always state everyone here is 18 plus, and I stand by that. But the problem maybe is not in every country 18 plus is actually the age you are officially an adult. But at least it is here where I live. So I'm in the clear. You're a minor if you're under the age of 21. Wait, what? That's still wrong. Whatever.
おそらく魔王が警察の突入を躊躇させるためです。誰が一般人で誰がボートなのかわからない状況では警察官の動きも鈍るでしょう。
Most likely. Maou wanted it this way. Most likely Maou wanted it this way. If there are no identifying characteristics, then the police won't be able to tell the difference between rioters and victimized citizens. It's a form of deterrence that decreases the effectiveness of brute force solutions to the situation. Yeah, I guess. But none of that really matters now. All we need to do is make it out of this hellhole alive. But at least things are looking up. We look like kids and all, so we should be able to get through this just by laying low.
ええ。
She didn't look fully convinced.
けれど連中の中に我々を知っている人間がいれば話は別です。
However, that only holds if none of the rioters are specifically after us, or would recognize us on sight.
浅井さんはよくセントラル街をうろついていたでしょう。自分もバイト先のドラッグストアの看板娘として有名ですから。
You frequent Central Boulevard a lot, and me? Well, I'm the beautiful and charismatic customer door for the drugstore I work at. Uh-huh. I still think we should try to hide here until nightfall.
わかりました。
Alright. Usami nodded expressionlessly. The hero retained her calm in the face of this unprecedented crisis. Unending hell.
繰り返す。不当に逮捕された同志たちを解放せよ。
I repeat, release our unjustly imprisoned comrades. I gave him my demands.
今から8時間の猶予を与える。8時間以内に誠意ある回答を期待する。
I'll give you 8 hours. I give you 8 hours. I expect a sincere answer within that time.
さもなければ、我々はこの町が焦土と化すまで破壊をやめない。今川を筆頭に多くの人質が命を落とすだろう。
If you fail to deliver, this destruction will go unabated until the entire area has been burned to ash. A large number of hostages will inevitably die, with Imagawa topping the list. At first glance, it may seem a tad silly to bring up hostages when hundreds of people have already died in the chaos along Central Boulevard, but that is not the case. The life of a member of the Diet and the life of a citizen are vastly unequal in value, which is sadly true. They say everyone is born equal, but at the same time, celebrities would be protected more than any ordinary dude. Or politicians, or... Well, I get it, but at the same time, you can't speak of equality. You can only speak of equality in... Well, no, you can't really... Equality is actually an illusion, more or less. It's weird to say, but I think equality is an illusion in every single way. To have true equality, everyone would need to have equal abilities, but not everyone is super smart, or everyone is super strong, or everyone is super beautiful, or everyone is super popular. As soon as you have a distinguished feature and lack other features, you're automatically not equal in a sense anymore. You just, how's it called? You just, how's it called? You stand out from the mass if you have something, if you have something very much that others don't have. Of course, there is the norm, which is the deepest and highest point in the middle of it. That's always there, but still within those are still ones who are better and worse at some things. So yeah, true equality, that's pretty much an illusion. I know of at least 3 huge enterprises. A railroad company and a road management company that will lose out on certain perks in the event of Imagawa's death. Now then, what sort of counterattack can I expect out of Tokita Yuki's father?
ひとまず了解した。
Very well. The negotiator had no choice but to accept the demands.
突っ込んだ質問もいいだろうか。
Mind if I ask you a direct question?
何か
Go ahead.
君は過激派の一味なのかな？
Do you belong to a radical organization? He's sharp.
それ以外の何だと
What do you think?
いやそうか。すまなかった。
Yeah, right, sorry. He must have figured that I was a bit young to be a Japanese radical. Spent as much time as you want profiling me, Senior Superintendent. Kyosuke and Yusami are already privy to Mao's true identity. The Yakuza Kyosuke has gotten involved with probably know as well. However, the police are yet to realize that Maou is the mastermind behind this disturbance. At any rate, it should be difficult to get an accurate profile on Samijima Kyohei, a dead man. I've never been in trouble with the police. I've left behind almost no photographs. Even when I was playing those games with Yusami, I took utmost care to leave no evidence. 8 more hours. There will be a few extensions, naturally, but my goal is in sight regardless. Senior Superintendent Tokita added to the conversation.
しかし要求の達成は限りなく難しいと君も分かっているのではないか？
Do you realize how difficult it will be to grant your demands?
ピザを差し入れろというのとはわけが違うからな。
Well, it's certainly of a different echelon than a pizza delivery.
そう、囚人の釈放は私はもちろん 察で対応できる要求ではない。
That's right. The release of prisoners is not something that can be done under my power. The entire police force couldn't grant your request.
だから首相を出せと言ったのだ。内閣総理大臣以下関係閣僚を招集して即刻会議にかける。
That's why I said you should call the Prime Minister. Summon him and his cabinet to a conference call.
報告しておく。ただし8時間以内で意思表明できるかどうか確約はできない。
I'll pass that order on. Still, I can't guarantee that we can set all that up within 8 hours.
できるはずだ。現在地方遊説中の閣僚はいない。時間の延長は一切認めない。
Wait, what? It should be possible. There are currently no cabinet members busy campaigning around the country. There will be absolutely no time extensions. And yet in his mind he already said that there will be naturally extensions. Negotiators will often make use of the reciprocity theory of psychology in order to request something from the criminal in exchange for granting the request.
8時間1分1秒の遅延も許されない。
You have 8 hours, not 1 second more. Among the most common of those requests is an extension on time.
了解した。
Very well. I'm sure that despite his acknowledgement, he'll be sure to use every means at his disposal to request an extension on the deadline when the time limit approaches.
時田警視正、私はあなたと交渉するつもりはない。警察レベルで判断できる要求ではないことは重々承知している。したがってあなたは私の意思を伝える連絡役となってもらえればいい。いわばただの友人だ。
Superintendent Tokita, I have no intention of negotiating with you. I am well aware that my demands are not within the realm of traditional law enforcement. Thus, you should just think of yourself as my liaison for communicating my demands. A friend, if you will.
光栄だな。では友人として私の個人的な見解を述べてもいいだろうか。
What an honor. Then, do you mind if I give you my personal opinion as your friend?
どうぞ。
Go right ahead.
君の望みが叶えられる可能性はある。
I believe that your desire has a distinct possibility of being granted. What is he playing at?
政府及び警察は人命を重んじて過去にいくつもの事件で超法規的に犯罪者の逃亡を幇助してきた。1970年の事件などは君にとって恒例だろう。
On occasion, the government and the police have been known to take extra legal measures to facilitate the escape of criminals in an attempt to protect human life. A certain 1970 case, for example, would serve as a promising precedent for you.
安心したまえとは言えないが勝算はある。だからこそ今すぐにでも街で行われている破壊活動をやめてはどうかな。一般人に死傷者が出ている以上、釈放を検討する会議において反対意見が出ることも予想される。
I can't tell you it's in the bag, but I can say that there's a possibility you'll succeed. So, would you mind putting a stop to the carnage taking place in the streets? The ongoing slaughter of innocent people will only serve to create dissenting opinions at the forthcoming conference concerning the release of the prisoners. I shook my head. Yeah, he will say something along those lines. I think you misunderstood me. You have 8 hours. The sooner you get me what I want, the sooner the carnage will stop.
犯罪者の釈放について 政府が方針を転換していることを私は知っている。先の同時多発テロでは首相がテロリズムには屈しないと声明している。
Oh. Or that, I guess. I happen to know that the government has changed the policy governing the release of criminals. After the recent global surge in terrorism awareness, the Prime Minister went on record and stated that he would not yield to terrorists.
もはや時代が違うのは承知している。
The times change. We live in a different era than they did in 1970. I brush off all emotions.
だからこそ私は前例のない規模でのテロを敢行しているのではないか。
And isn't that just precisely why I needed to formulate this unprecedented act of terrorism? No standard hostage case would press the leader of this nation to stand up and take responsibility, or even extra-legal measures for that matter. Criticism, both domestic and from abroad, has molded the government's new hard-headed stance.
飛行機をハイジャックする程度では貴様らの目が覚めんと思ったからこそこの地獄絵を描いたのだ。
Hijacking a few planes wouldn't get through to you. I needed to paint a living landscape of hell. Give me back my father. Why the death penalty? He's just a prisoner. There are murderers who take lives with booze and steering wheels. There are murderers who commit premeditated infanticide. Not one of them is sentenced to death. Oh, yeah, I know that shit. Oh man, that's so... Wow. I can understand why he is so angry. And that his years in the mercenary... Becoming a mercenary made him even more violent and cruel towards the world that took from him what he loved the most, his father, it seems. Bottomless hate and malice welled up inside me.
今回の惨劇は全世界に報道されることだろう。さらに我々はインターネット上に殺戮の光景をくまなく流布している。
Ho ho ho! I'm sure this tragedy will be reported all over the world. It should also be noted that we are circulating images of this slaughter all over the internet. Why only images? Why not videos? Vines even! Wow, that got gone deep. I only recently discovered what snuff films are. Why not bring snuff films out on the internet with that? Oh, I really honestly didn't know, and I immediately regretted looking it up. We want the whole world to know.
平凡な休日を過ごそうと恋人や家族とショッピングに出かけた矢先に理不尽な死刑がいくらでも転がっている。
Know that death is always close by when you go out shopping with your lover or your family on a peaceful weekend. Know that an unjust capital punishment might be waiting for you at the store.
人事だと思うなかれ。一方的な殺戮が行われているのは紛れもなく平和で治安の優れたこの国だ。我々はいつでもどこの町でも同じような事件を起こす。
We won't let a single human being escape this reality. This one-sided massacre is happening here, in one of the safest, most peaceful nations on the planet. We want mankind to know that we could mold this same terror in any city, at any time. An act of unprecedented terrorism. I spent 10 years in preparation for this. A chill and shudder in the spine of the Japanese government, nay, the world. This is so on point of what's currently is the biggest theme in politics in a long time, especially in Germany. Terrorism. Well, I think terrorism was always a topic. It just got weighed up and down by other things. But it never ever died, so...
時田警視正、約束しよう。要求が満たされれば、我々は市内における破壊活動を即刻中止し、以後二度と惨劇を繰り返さない。
I promise you, Mr. Tokita, if our demands are met, we will cease the destruction within this city immediately, and will never again cause a similar tragedy. My mouth almost slipped for a moment. I'm almost mentioned that it would be a small price to pay for the release of my father.
どうしても政府が対面を保ちたいというのなら、非公式な形での海外への亡命とし、釈放はしないが、身柄は解放するというわけだ。そういった言葉遊びはお手の物だろう。
If the government absolutely must save face, release the captives in an informal exile or the like. Say that you cannot pardon the prisoners, but you can liberate them. That sort of sophistry is the political forte, is it not? That proposal was the only compromise I could make.
確認したいことがある。
There's something I need to confirm. He spoke in a serious tone.
人質は無事だ。後ほどこの町の商店街のホームページにリアルタイムで動画をアップする。他に質問は？
The hostages are unharmed. I will upload a live video to the homepage of Central Boulevard's shopping district. Any other questions? He did not give an answer.
では8時間後、なるべく早い段階での回答を期待する。遅くなればなるほど、何の罪もない一般市民が殺されていくのだからね。
Well, at least I was not totally wrong. Very well then. We'll speak again before 8 hours time. I look forward to a prompt response. After all, the longer it takes, the more innocent people will die. Oh, god damn it, I missed my cue. Okay, I think I will end the episode right here. I hope you enjoyed it so far. And if you want to help me out, share this video or this channel with at least one of your friends. That will help me more than anything else you could do. Warm words in the comments would also warm my heart personally immediately. So, whatever you do, you do. Stay tuned.